Hey everybody, it's Angie and welcome to Hot and Flashy. In today's video, I'm going to try a whole face of new makeup, things that I have never tried before. Actually, I've tried these once before because I tried to record this video another day and I kind of had, I don't know. So I've got some drugstore, some high-end, some PR samples, and most of it I purchased. So we're going to do a full day wear test on it today. So the sunscreen that we're going to take a look at today is the Make Prem UV Defense Me Fluid. So this is kind of the sister sunscreen to one of my new favorites, which is the Make Prem Cream. But I was reading online that this one might be a little more matte. Here is the shininess of my face now. Whoa! Now, so this is much more fluidy than the other Make Prem, and as you can see I use quite a lot of it. That is because you need a 1/4 teaspoon of sunscreen to do just your face and your neck. Numbers on the label are not an absolute, so it's not an SPF 50 if you only put on a tiny bit. It's only an SPF 50 if you put it on in the same amount that they tested it in the lab. As we know, the sun's rays cause 90% of skin's aging. All right, so sunscreen is on. I'm gonna go upstairs and dry my hair. The sunscreen will set in that time. Then we will dive into this bucket of makeup. I'm so excited to try all this stuff. My hair is dry, sunscreen is set. All right, so for the foundation and the primer today, I picked up this new product from Revlon. It is their Color Stay Full Cover Foundation, and I also picked up the matching primer that goes with it. So I think I'm gonna use the primer on one side of my face. I like to do a half face because otherwise how are we gonna know if the primer is doing anything, right? So this has a sunscreen in it. It has an SPF of 34, but shouldn't be used as your first line of defense because you're not putting on a 1/4 teaspoon. Here is what the primer looks like. It's kind of an off-white color and it's very runny. So let's put it on the left side of my face. And I'm not going to use the rest. I'm just going to wipe that off. So that seems like plenty. And then for the eyeshadow primer, I'm going to be using Benefit's Stay Don't Stray. And this you're actually supposed to use under and on your eyelids. I actually had another under eye primer, the e.l.f. one, to use, so maybe we'll try one on each. I'll try this on both eyelids for the eyeshadow primer. So that would appear to be a flesh toned eyeshadow primer. It's got a nice little doe foot applicator. You know, I was watching a Nikki Tutorials video the other day and she put on her eyelid primer with a sponge. I'm going to put it on this under eye as an under eye concealer primer, but just the tiniest little dab. Want that, and where it has a little bit of color, I suppose it's going to start pre-camouflaging under there. Yeah, it actually does. And then the one I have from e.l.f. is the e.l.f. Hydrating Under Eye Primer. So this one is more clear, doesn't start doing any color correcting. That one feels really moisturizing. This one feels a little drier. Like I feel like eyelid primers need to be drier because your eyelids are so oily, but I feel like under eye primers need to be more moisturizing and emollient. So between the two so far, I like the feel of this e.l.f. one better. For the eyeshadow, I have the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. This is a gorgeous palette. Lots of color in here. If you are afraid of color, this palette will not be for you. And I have a bunch of new Morphe brushes to put it on with. So I'll just list the name of the brush that I'm using down here on the video. So the first shade I'm going to use is right here in the corner, Breakaway. And I'm just going to place that on the movable lid between the lashes and the crease to be our base color. And I'm going to use that as a brow highlight as well. For the crease color, I'm going to go into this middle color here called Weekender. I'm going to place that up in the center of my crease out at the outer corner between my eyebrow and lashes and just draw it down at an angle to my lash line. And then I'm going to make little small circular motions up into the crease. Next I'm going to go into this cocoa brown on the corner here called Good Is Gone. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that on the tip of this brush. And I'm going to put that right over where I put the other eyeshadow, which is from the crease at an angled line down to the eyelashes. And then little tiny baby circles in the crease. So you can always add more, but it's really hard to take it away. And then I'm going to go back to the fluffy brush to blend that out. Then I'm going to use this tiny little brush and I'm going to go into Radio And I'm just kind of layering these colors at the outer corner and then drag it across to the midpoint. It's funny, I feel like I'm not getting as good color payout with this primer than I normally do with my other primer. All right, hair was bugging me, found a headband, put it up. Yeah, I really don't feel like I'm getting the color payout from this. I don't like how underneath this eye looks. Creased in there already. This eye is still very smooth. Oh well, this is what happens sometimes. The making of the video. Welcome to behind the scenes. Let's get a makeup wipe and start that over. All right, so now we found out that, yeah, this one, I don't know. Does anyone like this? Stay Don't Stray. Have you tried it? Interested to hear your thoughts on it. I don't love it. I am gonna fall back on my favorite Too Faced Shadow Insurance. Let's just dab some of this on and start over, and we will get the lovely payout from this eyeshadow that we are supposed to get. And for an eyeshadow guard today, I'm going to use a setting powder. I picked up this Kat Von D Lock-It setting powder. You just put like a boatload of setting powder under there. Then if you get any fallout, you just brush it all away. Okay, I've got this big Morphe 9-piece vegan brush set to use today. I've got this angled brush here. So back to the palette, second time's a charm. You already know what colors I'm using, so I am gonna fast forward through this one. The shade Breakaway, all over the movable lid. Back into Weekender. Then going into Good Is Gone. Then blending it out. Taking a little bit of it under. Going into Radio. And then blending that out. Then I'm going to pick up Blaze with my finger. Add that to the center of my eyelid. Bring it in. And then blend it in with Radio. Alright, I'm just going to go back into Weekender and just put that right at the top and bring it under. I'm going to grab that big fluffy brush and fluff away the powder. Urban Decay sent that palette along with the entire Born to Run collection, which also included a couple of eyeliners, so I'm going to use this one today. This one is called Overdrive. I'm going to use this along my top lash line. And I'm going to smudge that out because I also have a liquid liner that I wanted to try. I'm just going to put a little bit of that at the outer corner of the bottom lashes, just the tiniest bit. And then again, I'm going to use my fingers to smudge that across a little. The liquid liner I got to try is from Stila. It's their Stay All Day waterproof liquid liner, and this one has a micro tip, so it has this tiny little tip. My favorite one is from Clinique. Check out the difference. This one's the Clinique, this one's the Stila. Okay, yeah, I mean, it's nice. I think it might be almost a little too small. Like if you want a super thin line, then it's good for that. But if you want to try to thicken up the line, then it's hard because then you have to go over it twice and that can be difficult. Okay, I tried to do like a little cat wing out there, and on both of them I ended up with more of a messy blob. So I feel like it's almost too small of a point. And it makes it hard to place the eyeliner exactly where you want. I don't know. I think it's like too much of a good thing. I think a regular size, as long as it's a nice firm felt tip, is actually fine. It doesn't need to be micro, but you know what? This palette is so beautiful, colorful. I feel like we should amp it up by adding some of this. And they just swatch so beautifully. I'm like, is this too 70s? Should I even go for it or not? Would you guys wear this? Like, would you actually wear this in your real life? Or is this too Andorra from Bewitched? Ooh. So, all right, let's move on to the foundation. I have picked this up in two colors, 320 and 240. There is a shade in between these, and I think I'm kind of in between these, but they didn't have it in my store. So there's 320. I feel like that looks a little bit too dark, a little bit on the greenish side for me. And then 240 is this guy. Seems too light. right? All right, I mixed up a boatload of it. We're not going to use all this. This is supposed to be a full coverage, lightweight, long wearing matte. And it says you can apply it with fingers or a sponge. So I'm going to do fingers over here on this side. This is a very like moussey texture. It's very like whipped up kind of thing. It feels really nice, really lightweight. I'm sure it's got a ton of silicones in there to make it have this really silky, moussey feel. There's the no makeup side and the makeup side. I think that looks nice. I'm gonna do the sponge on this side. I feel like the finger side is definitely fuller coverage than the sponge side, but I like the blend on the sponge side better. I think it's just a little bit smoother. This side was a little bit like streaky in some areas, but overall, I mean, it looks really nice. It definitely isn't giving full coverage right now. It's like high medium on this side and low medium on this side. So I think I'll just see if I can build it up a little bit more. It's like, what do you want out of a full coverage foundation? When you see full coverage, or if you're buying something and you want full coverage, do you want like a masky, like whole makeup-y look? I know no one wants cakey, but do you want it like that you can't see a thing? Like, you know, here's my age spot that tends to be the darkest. Like, I feel like I can see a shadow of that through, but it's pretty much covered up any redness or most imperfections on my skin. I think it looks really good right now. I think I've got a good coverage going on. Definitely high medium to full coverage, not really seeing anything. I'm not feeling the need to add any concealer. But I do have a concealer to try for the under eyes. I have the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Full Coverage Concealer. This feels like it's going to be a little goes a long way kind of thing. And then I'm just going to use my finger to spread it from the inner corner out to the outer corner. Ooh, that's pretty. Very brightening. It's a good color. It's a little luminous. You know, I don't like luminous under eye concealer, so I'm going to set it, but let me just show you quickly that it is nice and smooth to start. I will just set it with the Kat Von D Locket. And I don't feel like the foundation really needs any setting powder. I really am loving the finish of it. It's really a nice like satin matte. For the rest of the face, I picked up this Catrice California in a box palette. This has blush, 2 blushes, 2 bronzers, and a highlighter. Which blush? I feel like this one, right? Kind of goes with the top. So I'm going to use that angled brush from the Morphe brush set. Dart back high on the cheekbones and bring it forward. Ooh, that's nice and subtle. I like that. Then I've got this big whopper of a brush from that kit, and I'm going to use one of these 2 bronzers. I actually start like in my hairline, so I don't end up with too much of it down, making a big circle on my forehead. And then I just kind of do an angled line down from the center here because my forehead gets a little wide here, so I like to contour. I feel like this brush is a little big to do the contouring over here. I usually just do with whatever's left on the brush, do a little bit down the sides of my nose and underneath. I like that. That's pretty. All right, and then there's also a fan brush in this kit, so we'll go ahead into this with the fan brush, and I put it up at the tops of my cheekbones. What did we ever do without highlighter? I love highlighter so much. I think I'm kind of addicted to it. And then I love it on the fronts of my cheeks. It really gives you like a lifted look on the front of your cheek. I don't put the blush on the apples of my cheek, but I do put the highlighter there, and I think that that is such a pretty look, especially on slightly more mature skin. Ooh, that is a highlight. I did get a Milk Makeup Mattifying Setting Spray. I feel like this doesn't need the setting spray though. It's nice and matte without it. Should I just try it on one half of my face? Let's give it a try on one half. This does have some alcohol in it, pretty high up, but it wasn't the first ingredient. It was like the 3rd ingredient. This is the Milk Blur Spray. Ooh, that's wet. Heavy droplets. All right, so I picked up 2 brow products. I have one from Milk, that's the Cush Fiber Brow. This has tinted heart-shaped fibers to thicken brows for long-lasting fullness, shape, and definition. And I got this in the color Haze. Ooh, that is quite light. I feel like it's making my brows look metallic. Interesting. I also picked up the Maybelline Tattoo Studio Brow Gel. This one is supposed to last for 2 days. feel like for two products with two vastly different colors, they actually don't look that different from each other. No one's going to notice that I have on two different brow colors. All right, and then the mascara, which is the last step, is the Too Faced Better Than Sex. Hard to believe I have never tried this one. And, you know, it is a top seller and people love it. It's a really heavyweight tube. It's the heaviest mascara I think I've ever held in my hand. Yeah, this one, my fave, Estee Lauder Sumptuous Knockout. So lightweight. This is so heavy. What do I have in here that makes it so heavy? Ooh, big brush like a Christmas tree. I don't really love a big brush, and it's got this hourglass shape on it, so we'll see how it is. But I feel like where it swoops in there, it doesn't make contact with my lashes. Like, I'm really only using this outer part here. So the whole hourglass curve thing for me doesn't seem to be working. Ooh, it's really itching my eyelid. Ugh, really clumpy. I would have had my Sumptuous Knockout on 10 times over already. I can't believe it. Like, this is hard to work with. It's way too big. Ow, it's making this eye itchy too. Not sure why. All right, they really are huge. So now I see why people like it. Really gives you long, full looking lashes. Oh my gosh, this is so dramatic. Like, I haven't worn drama makeup in a while because it's summer, and you know, summer is just like la la, free and easy. Okay, so the last thing we have to put on is a lip product. This is also came in PR from Urban Decay. This is their Lo-Fi Lip Mousse. I put this on in a video the other day and it was so pretty. But to give equal time to another brand, Too Faced sent me their new Melted Matte Metallic lippies. So I'm thinking we'll do this one first, and then if it comes off later in the day, we can try this one. Since this is already a very dramatic look, I think we'll go low key with the lips today. So this one is called Fade. It's like a mousse, and you just are supposed to tap it on your lips, so you don't need a lip liner. It's not like a really done kind of look, but you also don't get a very precise edge either. I think we have a really nice makeup look going on here. I think it's really pretty. I love the drama of the eye look. Here's what the foundation looks like up close. I really like the finish on it. It's so nice. It's so matte, but yet not flat. It's so smoothing. It's got great coverage. So we'll see how the makeup wears throughout the day. I gotta run some errands, record a couple more videos. I'll see you in a bit. All right, I'm back from eating lunch, and let's see how the lippy lasted. I think that, you know, it's definitely a stain of color that stays on your lips. It doesn't feel too terribly drying, but it is a little bit worn off, and I think I want to put on something else because I do have to record a couple more videos. I'm not sure about the Melted Metallics. This one is so pretty. I kind of want to try it. It's called Faking It. Oh my. What have I done? It's interesting. I can't say that I don't like it. I actually kind of like it. Well, 5:30 snuck up on me. Now it's time for the 4-hour check-in on the makeup. I'm over here doing some errands, and I think this makeup might be too much for the general population where I live because people were staring. Oh my gosh. But the Ulta lady said she liked my lipstick anyway. So anyway, thought we would take a look at it here in semi-natural light. Oh, wow, that really looks good. Been very happy with this foundation. It stayed matte. I don't feel like I look too textured or anything. The lippy has been drying and it's making like my lips look really creased, so I'm going to take this off when I get home, I think. But the eyeshadow is still going strong, and the mascara. All right, so you guys just got to see the Natural Light car check-in. Now I'm back home. I looked at it up in the 15x mirror so I could see where the imperfections are and where the trouble spots are. And can I tell you, I really like this foundation. I think it has kept its wits about it. It hasn't gotten like super shiny or anything. It's staying in place. I really like it. It's not accentuating texture. This lippy is really staying in place. It's like glued to my lips. It's not coming off. I am getting some creasing in the under eye concealer. And I like the blush and the bronzer and the highlighter still. And the Better Than Sex mascara, it's already flaking and, you know, chipping and falling apart. And I don't really love the look of the eyelashes. They're a little like creepy and spidery, although they are huge. So overall, I'm still happy with the look. So I will see you in another 4 hours. All right, you guys, I am back for the 8-hour check-in. It is now 9:30 at night. I haven't touched anything up. I haven't powdered, I haven't blotted, I have done nothing to this. And I think that overall the makeup still looks pretty darn good. So let's start with the first product we put on. Let's run through them. So let's start with that sunscreen, the Make Pram. This is the fluid one. I really like it. I feel like it kind of glues makeup in place. Like, I've rarely tried a new foundation that is still in place at 8 hours without showing many signs of wear. And I think since I've been starting to use this, the foundations are lasting a little bit longer. The next thing would be the Revlon primer. The primer didn't really help so much with keeping it in place, because I think if we look at my chin, it's much more worn off on the primer side than on the not primer side. But this actually seems to be a little bit like moisturizing and smoothing. For the foundation, I am very, very pleased with this. I am not shiny. This is 8 hours with no touch-ups, no powdering, no blotting, no nothing. And instead of having to mix two together, I am probably gonna go and get the one color that is probably gonna match me. The concealer is definitely settled a little bit in my wrinkles, but it's not really bad. Like, it doesn't look bad from this distance, and I can still see from this distance that there is still coverage. It is still giving me that light, bright under eye look. So I think the e.l.f. primer does help. I've used this a couple of times before and I've actually liked it when I used it, and I felt that it did help my under eye concealer to wear better and be a little smoother, but it didn't completely keep it from wrinkling up. Mascara has definitely flaked. Look at all the little black flakes that are under there. The Urban Decay Born to Run palette I think is a really pretty palette if you like a lot of color. If you don't like a lot of color and would never use half of these, then, you know, no point in getting it. But if you are into color, I think they're not like screaming loud colors. I felt like this was actually fairly wearable all day. For the Catrice California in a Box, this is really, really pretty. I love the price point on this. I love this palette. Let's see, for the brushes, I really like these Morphe eyeshadow brushes. I thought they were great. I think their price is right. I think they're like $5 or so a piece, so not a huge investment if you were starting out with makeup and you were looking for some less expensive brushes to try. It's nice to get these individual ones because the shapes are better, I think, than the ones that come in the kit. And as far as the face brushes, I really like this kit of face brushes. This one I've been using and loving for foundation since I got it. I've been using this one a ton, really like that. And then of course the fan brush, enjoy for that. Yeah, so lots of winners in here. Okay, big loser was the Stay Don't Stray. I could not get a blend or any color payout with the eyeshadow with this, and it crinkled up my under eyes and felt drying, so don't like this product at all. I used the Milk Makeup Blur Spray. I can't really tell if that did anything. I mean, maybe that's why it was so long wearing. Wait, did I only use it on half? Is that right? Wait, I used it on this half, didn't I? What else did we have in here? We had the Kat Von D powder. Jury's still kind of still out on this. I'll have to play with it a little bit more, but you know, Kat Von D makes nice products. It seems nice. I mean, you get a ton in here. Then we have the two brow products. I think they've both worn really well, really nicely. They haven't gone anywhere. Oh yeah, I tried the Lo-Fi, and I really like the idea of this product. I like putting it on. I like that it just stains the lips, but it did feel fairly drying. Then I put on the Too Faced Melted Matte Alec Lippy, and oh my gosh, does that have incredible staying power. I mean, look at the swatch on the back of my hand from how many hours ago? Eight hours ago I swatched that, and I've washed my hands so many times and that is still on there. So better than Sex mascara for me, not better than Sex. I don't really like the wand on it. It's a little too big, takes a long time, makes my lashes really big, really long. If you're looking for like huge lashes, this is good, but then you also have to put up with the black polka dots all over your face for the rest of the day. So that is not beating out my tried and true Estee Lauder Sumptuous Knockout. So that was really fun. I love it when the makeup actually works. I hate it when I do these things and it's like, oh god, everything sucks and I walked around looking awful all day. I actually felt good in this. I felt confident. I felt like my face looked good. So anyway, that's it for the video. I hope you found it helpful and informative. If you enjoyed it, give the video a like and subscribe to my channel. As always, I really appreciate your time and thank you for watching. So have a great day and I will see you in the next video. So take care, everybody. Bye-bye.